What is going on, go-getters? We are back.
Yes, sir.
In this week's episode, we talked to Rafael Lang.
Raf is a very wise man who's developed a lot of his life philosophies from being an expert practitioner in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Raf is a 4th degree black belt training out of Octagon MMA.
Yeah, guys, make sure to watch this podcast all the way through. We had a great time with Raf Lang sitting down and talking to him. This podcast was so fire. You guys have been showing us tremendous amounts of love, so let's keep it going. Let us know what you think. Like, subscribe.
Peace.
Boom. Boom. Go Getters Podcast. We're live from Dallas, Texas here at Octagon MMA today.
Yes, sir.
We're talking to the one, the only Raf Lang. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for inviting.
Absolutely.
Raf, thank you, man,
Excited.
for being so patient with us.
Sure, no problem.
Behind the scenes, we tried this a couple days ago. It kind of failed.
Yes.
We had some technical difficulties, and I really appreciate you just working with us and allowing us to figure this thing out.
No problem at all, man.
Yeah, but let's get right into it. So you are a jiu-jitsu practitioner in the Dallas area.
Yep.
You're from Brazil, and you've been training since 1995.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, I started judo with about 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And in my school, that's a program in the school. And then I was close to 9 years old. Then I started to see like Royce in UFC 1, right? 2. And then okay, man, this look cool. And Brazil is a tough environment, right? You got to learn quick to be smart. And I thought that was a good way to learn how to fight and protect myself. And was also fun. Very similar to the judo I was learning because I was also wearing gis. And that I was just starting also in my school. That is a program. When I start, there was Marcelo Tetel was the first professor that I met that I did like probably 6 months with him. Then after that, Sergio Malibu took the space with some help instructors like Dennis Machado, Luna, and Erickson. And I learned a little bit from them for about a year. Then as a yellow belt. Then they move again. And then I end up starting with Vinicius Campelo and Otávio Couto. Also was one of the first alliance in Rio de Janeiro.
Wow. So what was your experience like in Brazil as a young man, as a young kid?
Man, like, I grew up in Rio de Janeiro. I don't think I can complain. Like, it's an amazing city, you know, like a lot of nature, like you can surf.
Yeah.
I think it's the birth of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mainly because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu didn't really start in Rio, but was for sure the Mecca for many years. And a lot of people used to move actually in other states like Manaus or South or São Paulo to go to Rio to learn Jiu-Jitsu because all the good practitioners, especially the Grace family, was there. So yeah, I grew up in Rio was definitely a bless in many ways. I think if you can be raised in Rio and you're still alive, you're ready for anything. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the way.
So you started with judo.
Yeah, I started judo. I did boxing, English box. I did Muay Thai. I did a little bit of karate, but I started actually with judo, and jiu-jitsu was my main thing until nowadays.
Why do you think that those are the martial arts that really were called to you? Like, why did you stick with those martial arts instead of, you know, really going with judo or really going with karate or boxing or Muay Thai?
I think jiu-jitsu is more than proved, right, for many years. It's a very efficient martial arts, right? You could see like Royce, like not a very big guy or strong guy, young, right? Putting himself in a cage with people bigger than him, like or more athletic than him, and 2 in, 1 out, right? There was no many rules, and he could really not just survive, but really show control and domain the entire time. All the other practitioners, so and it was like. No rules, no gloves, like it was a real thing. So that's really make me really trust in jiu-jitsu. What I was seeing sometimes in other martial arts, that's, okay, man, this is cool, but how a 15 years old can be a black belt? You know what I mean? So I think jiu-jitsu always try to keep everything real. No BS, let's put that way. Sorry for my words, but that's real thing. You know, like we teach and we don't build we don't want the student to have a fake confidence. Like, if you can do it here, you're gonna do on the street, and that's how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was building. So,
yeah, that's really cool. The efficiency of Jiu-Jitsu.
Exactly. Plus, all the other things would come with the philosophy behind the brotherhood, the friendship, like Jiu-Jitsu, if you have your gym and you're in a good gym, they will become your family, right? Your friends will become your family, close people. My students are my friends. They're like family to me. My professors, they until nowadays, they still like one of the best friends I have. The teammates is still, even though they're in Europe or they're in Australia or in Brazil, they're still like family to me. So this also is really important.
How long have you been training here in Octagon? Because I get that vibe from this place. Like, it's a very friendly environment. It seems like everybody's very down to earth. Everybody's really chill. So like, it seems like you guys share that brotherhood vibe here in this gym.
Yeah, I think the values are super important. Like, you can be a good fighter, but not a good person.
Yeah.
And this doesn't do much for your community, right? So I try to keep this vibe on the gym, right? That's what I stand for. That's what I believe. So this is super important. Keep the environment. It's such an important thing. Like, try to make something that's welcome to everybody. Right, so the person who needs more jiu-jitsu is not the big guy, right? So so you get this maybe 45 years old guy who wants to start jiu-jitsu, is not very athletic, and you can see he's not taking much care of his health. Right, so if I make just a tough environment, this guy will never survive for the last maybe for 1-2 months, and he will quit. So the first thing that I did at Octagon to try to keep a good vibe when I moved here and they asked me to be a head coach in here was trying to organize the program in beginners, all levels, advanced, try to build a competitors. Okay, we're going to have this tough time for training, so there will be a separate time than the people who start, so people don't get hurt, they don't get intimidated. So I can help the beginner to build himself up in order to be a competitor one day, not just throw him with the lions. Right, so that was one of the important things to keep this vibe, I think.
I think that that's really, really cool about jiu-jitsu. I got into it, I think, a little under 2 years ago, and it really helped me to build my confidence, I think, as a young man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's much different than all the other sports that I played, because in the beginning, I really, really had to suck. I had to get beat up, and I had to learn how to survive against guys who were able to control me and against guys who were able to just kind of have their way with me. But as I kept going, I figured out that if I keep on practicing and if I keep on trying to develop techniques, I could kind of take care of myself. And I think that that helped me to develop like confidence with myself. And I think that there's a bunch of other ways that jiu-jitsu and martial arts can help build self-confidence. So was that something that you experienced when you were 9, 14 years old, starting jiu-jitsu as a white belt? Were you struggling with your ego a little bit when you were losing or when you were going against tougher opponents?
For sure. I've been always very competitive. I think I took this from my dad. So I compete in many sports in my life. Like, I compete swimming, I compete soccer. The first time I came to US was to play soccer for my school. I was probably like 12 years old, 13, in Minnesota, the US Cup. So I was competing I compete judo, I compete basketball, like a lot of things in my childhood. And being jiu-jitsu, maybe like my first experience was for sure someone like maybe skinnier than me beat me up. I said, man, that works, but I'll be back tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, I want to learn this and I'll be back tomorrow, and be this maybe competitive aspect that I have on myself help me to come back on the next day and keep pushing. But the thing is, I was very lucky. Like, the gym that I learned my entire life is the old Alliance Barra, nowadays is ex-BJJ in Rio. It's a high standard gym. Like, my coaches are awesome. Like, they also built this very nice environment, the gym, the entire life, when I could share with friends. But it's a very humble sport, as you say.
Very much.
It doesn't matter how good you are in anything in your life, right? You can be an excellent doctor, excellent attorney, and you can be a very well-successful person, and then you get here, and maybe this guy who wash the bathroom after class, maybe half your size, gonna beat you up so much because it has a knowledge that you don't have. So sure.
Oh, my fault. I was gonna say, what do you think made you draw so much to like athleticism and like these kinds of sports at such a young age? Was it just something to do? Was it something to boost your confidence? Was it to keep your time, to keep yourself busy? What was that?
You mean what, keeping jiu-jitsu at a young age?
Well, no, like, I mean, you were talking soccer, swim. Like, what made you so involved in all these different kind of sports at such a young age?
That's a good question. It's like, I always loved sport.
Yeah.
I'm a very active person. And my dad was a soccer player too, beach soccer. And I just came natural to me. I always loved sports. Like, of course, I like any other kids, I will play some video game, but it was never my thing. right? So being a very active kid, I was always burning energy doing something.
Yeah.
Right, always being outdoor. And Jiu-Jitsu, I think Jiu-Jitsu kept me just not because they're efficient and also because I always loved martial arts, right? Who never, on my age, who never watched the blood sport movie? You know what I mean? Like the cool thing, you know, like, and all the philosophy that we stand behind, the honor, the respect. It's be a tough person, but with valor. It's not to beat other people, but to do the right thing. Yeah. Right? So all these things always, I think, attract me a lot to Jiu-Jitsu, you know, and the friendship, you know, the friendship. We do everything together. We go to the beach together to surf. We party together. We're like a big family. So this always keep me close to the gym.
That was one aspect I always really enjoyed about sports because I didn't really play too much sport. I did a little bit of karate when I was younger. I played football basically my whole life, but that's always what I really loved about it was like you had something to work towards. It was very time consuming and it really felt like you were involved in this like community of people that were all trying to achieve one goal or one outcome, I guess you could say, or we're all on that same kind of like mental journey.
Yeah, I think you want to have people around you, as you say, that believe on the same things as you, they stand for the same things, or I kind of have same goals sometimes, right? People who push you forward, not who drag you down. And in a jiu-jitsu gym, there's no better place for that, right? Like if you are in the best gym you could be, and people around you will probably try to help you to be the best version of yourself in anything you do, you know? Jiu-Jitsu is about self-preservation. I think it's the main thing in Jiu-Jitsu, right? And we talk about self-preservation, you got to think about everything. Not just about the physical aspect of a real combat, but what you eat, what you watch, what you hear, like the people that you hang out with. It's self-preservation in general for your life. Right?
Protecting your own energy, your own well-being.
Exactly, your vibe, your well-being. Exactly, it's wellness, right? So one of the sayings that I never forgot, that as a kid I hear a lot from Vinicius Campelo. He's the head of the BJJ nowadays. He was actually one of the co-founders of Alliance, right? The OG Alliance. And he always say, you got to be champion in life. Medals are cool, but it's not the goal. You got to be champion in your life. You know, and Jiu-Jitsu is a tool to help you on that, right?
So how are you a champion in your own life? Like, what do you do outside of the Jiu-Jitsu gym that keeps you winning or successful as a man?
As a man, be success for me is not the medal at all, right? A medal is cool. It shows that I achieved something, like I put a goal, I work harder, and I made it. It's cool. Help also to build your confidence, right? I had a plan, and this plan works, right? But what makes me feel success as a man is be a good father, be a good friend, right? Be a good husband, be a good son, right? Be a good brother, or right, a good sibling to my sisters or to my brother. So that's make me feel a success person, like. Nowadays, people look success a lot of like financial aspect, right? But I have a lot of people who make money, but to see the way they make the money or the energy behind that, it's not really good. So of course we all need money, but that's my opinion. That's not the main thing to measure as be a success person. But it is something. You cannot exclude that, but it's not the main tool or the main thing. Sorry.
Do you think that jiu-jitsu kind of doubles as a spiritual practice as well as a martial art and a physical practice?
I think so. Like my way to see Jiu-Jitsu, again, it's not just the self-protection aspect, which it's obvious to everybody nowadays. It's really effective, but it's a tool to develop yourself as a human being. You know, and the spiritual aspect for sure. Like one of my professors, Octavian, used to say a lot, is the most dynamic way of meditation. Right, bring you to the present moment, right? When you gotta deal with your frustrations, you gotta deal with your fears, right? And you gotta show courage sometimes when you feel there's not there. You gotta accept challenge every day. For example, we were talking about the white belts first. Imagine you're a white belt and you walk to that door today, and you know, as a white belt, 100% of the people inside the room is gonna beat you up. And they beat you up. And you wake up tomorrow and I'm going to go again and again.
Perseverance.
You know? So that's a lot of things that Jiu-Jitsu teach, right? You tap, right? Okay, I fail. But I didn't quit. Let's start over. So I keep going, right? So there's a lot of things that the martial art will teach you, the resilience, right? The perseverance, the overcoming things. So
It has a lot of parallels to life. Do you remember how you progressed as a man through each rank of the belt system in jiu-jitsu? So as a white belt, how did you change to when you became a blue belt and then to purple and to brown and black?
Yeah, I believe as a white to blue belt is a big change, right? I think when you get a blue belt, you just pass the harder part. It's the part that you are white to belt, you don't do nothing, and you just get bit, and you're coming back, as you just said. Yeah. So in my way to see, the white belt is the hardest one, right? You keep coming back until you figure out. And once you become a blue belt, I would say you become a different animal. Yeah. Let's put that way. As a blue belt, you are capable to understand the roots of jiu-jitsu or the philosophy or some concepts, right? A blue belt, if you see some old videos back in the day, they put blue belts against some, I won't say name of martial art, but some martial artist was a black belt, and you could see the blue belts doing really well and making the other black belts from other martial arts quit. So it's for sure he knows enough to protect himself. Yeah. He understands a little bit the concepts, what a control means, because what jiu-jitsu is close the distance, take down, control, submission. If you want bottle, establish a good control even though you want bottle, or you attack a submission if the control is good, or you sweep, invert the fight, you go on top and you control and you tap the person. A blue belt, he understands that. He understands how important it is to find a good position in the fight before you try to be aggressive, right? Yep. And he also understands he can escape for someone in a big size when he's on bottle. So he understands those things. So I think the purple belt maybe is the guy who already have a game, let's put it that way. He has his own style. He figured out his own style. Yeah. Jiu-Jitsu is a big book, right? You're going to see a lot of techniques, even though the concepts are the same. You're going to see the guy who like to play more bottle, the guy who like to play more takedowns, they like more that guarding pass. So nowadays you see a lot of people like those bottle games like with invert positions, like beating bolo or crab rides or things like that. So you're going to develop your style as a purple belt. You already know the kind of style you want to be. Okay. So let's say you become a different animal. As a purple belt, you know what kind of animal you are, right? Yeah. So as a brown belt, you sharp those things. As a black belt, you back to the beginning, in my opinion. Really? You start, for sure. You gotta review all the fundamentals, right? That's the most important thing. I say back to the beginning because even though you have a game, you cannot just rely on your game. You gotta keep open your mind to learn new things. Yeah. Yes. And then you understand how important it is to build awareness, in my opinion. Build awareness is, okay, I don't like this lapel guard that people are doing, but I need to understand lapel guard game because if one day I'm trying to pass someone guard and he do that, how do I get out of that? Right? How do I escape from that? How I pass that guard? So even though I don't like lapel guard, I need to understand and have a knowledge about it, even though it's not my favorite move, even though I don't have much fun with that. Right, or a 50-50 was make a stalling position. So I need to build awareness. So in the black belt, he must keep building awareness and never stop to search for knowledge.
Do you find that a lot of black belts feel as if they made it already and that they don't have to develop their game more or continue to adapt and evolve?
Yeah, could happen. I think could happen in any professional, right? Like as an attorney, as a doctor. I think it's not just about the martial art. It's about the martial artist, right? What kind of human being he wants to be. Like, you have average doctors, you have amazing doctors, and you have bad doctors. Right. You have good fighters, amazing fighters. You have bad fighters or good coach, bad coach. It's the kind of person you want to be, right? But I think the true believer, I heard this in a Rickson Gracie interview. Right? Rickson Gracie was the professor of Vinicius, my professor. So I always try to study the way he thinks or his philosophy, right? The way he sees jiu-jitsu. For me, it's really important. It's my roots, right? And he will say the black belt is the person who's always in service. He needs to understand he's there to help. Not just help to show an armbar or a foot lock, right? With a technique on the mats. He needs to help the human being, the person. He sees someone being coward or doing a bad attitude with a woman or a smaller guy in the bar, he will stand for the guy because he understands that should not happen that way, or even on the mats, try to help the person to be a better human being, or to developing himself as a technical way,
Absolutely.
or as a way to see, for example. That's many ways to do that. For example, you see a brown belt getting a white belt and start to beat this white belt really bad. It's your job as a black belt to come to this brown belt and say, hey, man, that's not the way.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's being service, be aware of the group, try to take care of the group inside. That's what I believe.
I admire that, man. So when you're out and you're, living your regular life, do you feel that you have a responsibility to be of service to the people around you, your family, your wife, your kids, and even other people?
I think so, because if you have the knowledge, what is courage, right? Like, if you see, I think the Jiu-Jitsu come also from the Bushido code, right? That's
Bushido
a code.
code,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a code. That's
Yeah.
a code. You are black belt. You need to understand that we stand for a code, right? And I think courage is one of the values on this code. And what is courage? Courage is not just do adventures or crazy things or jumping from the bridge. I did a lot on my young age, right? To try to build confidence, to overcome my fears.
Sure.
I think courage is do what is right, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're a little scared,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes I'm scared, but that's the right thing to do. My value is courage. I gotta do it.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes the right thing is not the easy thing. So that's why I require courage.
Yeah.
I admire that, man. I heard a quote once by Confucius, and I think it goes like, to know the right thing and to not do it is cowardice.
Exactly.
That's interesting, and I find that that's really awesome about jiu-jitsu, how as you progress, you develop more of a responsibility to service. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the peak of what it means to be a man, to give back and to give your wisdom instead of keeping it all to yourself, and develop your wisdom.
Yeah, I think the word like give something back, right? In everything, right? In some point in your life, someone is gonna give you a hand, someone is gonna help you, right? In some point in your life, someone will ask you for help,
Yeah.
right? What kind of person you will be if you don't,
Yeah.
right? If you don't show that help or if you don't show the support, right?
Yeah. Has there ever been a situation in your life where you had to use what you know or what you learned on the mats in a real life scenario?
In one means like,
Have you ever had to defend yourself or somebody else outside of a gym?
that's a complicated. Yes. I grew up in Brazil, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I had to defend myself. To be honest, if you're more straight questions, that's if I ever been in a street fight.
Sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I grew up in Brazil. I've been in some. But to be honest, 99% of the fights that I've been in the streets or in a bar, whatever, was because of someone else.
Yeah.
A friend got in trouble. Not because of myself. Who knows, I'm very, very chill. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to say, like, if you want to go out, right, it's to have fun or to find a nice girl, not to fight, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I already do this every day in the gym.
Yes.
Yeah.
But sometimes happens, like,
Yeah.
sometimes things go in the wrong way, and jiu-jitsu will give you the confidence to stand for yourself. Right?
Yeah.
Why do you think it takes a dangerous person, a person who's capable of really harming somebody? Why do you think it takes that level of understanding to be as you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Kinda.
so what do you think it is about having the capabilities that you have that keeps a person humble and not wanting to avoid conflict? Do you know what I'm trying to say about
Rather than like starting problems or causing trouble or
'Cause
like keeping yourself humble in a way, I
Yeah.
guess.
Although you know how to do it, it's like it takes a person who knows how to do it to avoid it the most.
Yeah, I think I understand what you mean. Like, I don't know, man. You gotta jiu-jitsu build the confidence, and you gotta have no confidence at all to keep trying to prove to people that you are tough.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm in a bar and I need to try to keep proving to my wife or to my girlfriend or to my friends that I'm tough, that's something wrong with you. You have no confidence, right? You're already showing that. I think a confident person is a calm person, right? I'm here, man.
Yeah. You got nothing to prove.
If you cross their line, that's a good reason for, right? If you just maybe you drunk and you say some words, okay, man. I will not even let this energy get into me, like I would just avoid you. Or man, I maybe just go to the other side of the bar and try to have more fun.
Understood.
How long did it take you to master that principle? Like, was it throughout your journey of jiu-jitsu, or was this stuff you had to go through in life to learn these things?
I think if you are raising for a good family, you already should have this, right?
The basic
but
principles.
it's not really easy. It's not everybody has the same luck that I had to have good parents. Let's put it that way. And then also to grow in a different environment, right? That you end up being a little more aggressive or violent by nature because the environment make you behave that way, right? So I think as more you do jiu-jitsu and you understand the martial art, if you're in a good gym, again, you got to have a good gym, right? Not just going to a club fight, right? In a good gym, when people really have philosophy, they not just teach you how to beat people, they teach you the jiu-jitsu, martial arts, the philosophy, the codes, everything. If you're in a good gym, the gym should have, right, on the program, on the everyday, the environment that teach you those things, right? For example, I teach kids, and when I teach the kids, I teach the bullying program, right? I teach them self-protection. And I tell them, I don't want to hear that you guys fought in the school. I don't want to hear that you guys beat a friend. Because if I hear that, you're not welcome to my class anymore. If I hear that someone tried to beat you, and then you take this guy down and control, perfect. I'm proud of you. You stand for yourself, right? But if I hear that you start a fight, now we need to sit down, have a serious conversation, and see what's happening with you. If I can help you to have a better behavior. If you don't want to have a better behavior, now you're using this tool in the wrong way. So you should not be here.
What's like the age group of kids that you work with? Like what's like the youngest kids that you teach?
I start to teach kids in a young age as a help instructor. I was maybe a green belt, 14 years old, and I was already helping to coach with my professors. And that was the first contact that I have with kids. And then I still teach on nowadays. I teach kids to 4 years old, and then I go all the way up. I have students as a 72 years old. So I'm 4 years old to 72. Again, if you organize the program well, you can help everybody. Right.
What age group do you think is the hardest to like instill these principles into? Do you think it's harder to teach the young kids, or is it harder to teach like the old dog? You can't teach an old dog new tricks, like the classic quote, but like... You
talk about teach the philosophy or the techniques?
I guess a bit of both, but more or less the philosophies. Like, is it easier to instill that into the younger kids? Because I would kind of feel like it's harder because they just don't understand that aspect of life yet. But the older people, they might have their own interpretations or their own grasp on their own reality, so it might be harder to teach them.
I think it's hard to teach someone who doesn't want to be taught.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, and kids sometimes they come to class because the parents can see the value. But they're too young on their age to understand the value. So sometimes they're here, but the commitment is not there. Those would be a tough one to teach sometimes. But they end up in getting passionate about it and then goes, right? So I don't think the student with 40 years old, 50 years old, I think they've been through a lot of things in life already. They probably have kids and they understand the value of those things, right? And how good is important to have that. So.
Do you think there's like a perfect, like, malleable age that, like, there's a perfect window of, like, I guess reality that, like, it's easier to, like, mold somebody in jiu-jitsu?
I think as young you start better.
Okay.
Right? I think like teenagers, it's great. Right? Because they are capable to understand the movements. They already have motor skills. Right? If they come for another sport, even better. It's make easier. They have energy. Like if they get beat up today, tomorrow they are brand new to start and do again. Right? So I think teenagers all plus their energy. Teenagers are good energy, right, man? Who doesn't like to be around the young kids? Right? They have good energy. They joke. Like it's a fun class. Right? And they can be athletic really easy, you know, and that is one kid as a teenager that you feel, poor, this guy is a little bit off the shape and someone start to bully him, you can help this kid. It's still on time to make this kid like build his confidence back. I think teenagers is the very nice group to teach.
Okay. So how does this work with fatherhood? Like, do you think that it's different going and trying to teach these principles to your son? And how do you try to go about raising them to be good men as a father? You know, because it's almost as if though hardship creates good men. So how do you go about creating those type of environments for your sons?
For my kid or for my students?
Son.
For my son.
Yes.
Well, man, like I'm very nice. I would say like I'm trying to be very, how can I say, very close to my son in all the aspects. I make him try to see me as his best friend, but if I have a little bit of limit because I'm your father, right? So that's some things, some lines we cannot cross in this relation that we have. But I'm trying to go sometimes. I'm not just trying to bring him to my world, but I'm trying to go inside his world to try to understand the way he thinks, what he's watching, what he's doing, right? And I think Jiu-Jitsu actually has been so far a very good tool to raise my kid, right? I bring him, he do the class with me. I see he rolling. Sometimes I can see it like he's getting a little bit angry during the rounds.
Yeah.
Someone like hit his face by a mistake with the elbow, and you can see his facing change, and he start to behave a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm around, and I can say, hey, chill.
Yeah.
Was an accident, calm down, because if you start to get too emotional, you're not going to think. And if you're not thinking, you're not going to act smart. And if you don't act smart, you're not going to take good decisions during the fight.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing too so far. Plus, he can see this, right? He comes to the mat, he feels home. He feels the love, right, from everybody.
That's pretty cool.
You had mentioned with your relationship with your sons, there are certain lines that you don't cross. As they get older, is there a change in that relationship when they become men, when they're turning from boys to men? Is there some sort of initiation that shows you that they're capable men, and then have a reflection on that relationship between you two?
Yeah, I say like some lines because, for example, if a friend sometimes you're gonna get too emotional, he can raise his voice to a friend, right?
Yeah.
If you raise a voice to me, he needs to understand I'm your dad. You should not raise a voice to your dad. You should show some respect. By the way, I don't raise my voice to my kids. You know what I mean? So I teach him we respect to be respected.
Yeah.
And if I don't want him to raise the voice to me, I won't raise the voice to him. And answer about as he become a man, how that changed. To be honest, my kid's 8 years old. I don't know yet. You know, I have idea or a plan of what I'm gonna do. My kid's still 8 years old, but changing from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8, for sure my behavior changed. And even the subjects that we're gonna talk about, right? I'm not gonna talk with him about how nice he is to have a girlfriend or how you should treat your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right now, he's 8 years old. He's not even think about that.
Yeah.
But I think the best way to raise is the example. He see the way I treat my girlfriend. He see the way I treat my fiancé, and he's seeing.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best way to raise. I'm sure that with 12, 13, 14, he will have a very good idea how he should treat his girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He see the way I don't raise my voice at home. He see like, well, if I make my coffee and she's not up yet, I make her coffee too. Why not? You know what I mean? I'm already making my coffee. He see I'm at the friendship that I have with her. So I think that's the best way.
To lead by example.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's nice. So when do you think, what is the transition usually between going from a boy into a man? From maybe your personal experience, what's the difference between a boy and a man? And how does the transition usually happen?
Assume responsibility of your life, right? Start to rely on other people. Understand it's your job to figure out.
Yes.
Right? So even though you have, in Brazil it's very different, the cultural. Like here in the US, you're 17 years old, they send you to school, right? You go to college, you figure out, right? In Brazil, man, you have people 30 years old still live with their parents.
Yeah.
Right, and they have their job is to they don't pay a rent. That's an easy life. Let's put it away. It's not I'm saying it's an easy life, but you know that's just cultural. I'm not judged right, wrong. It's just cultural. I think you become a man when you figure out, man, and when you don't call your parents when you're in trouble, right? You crash your car, you solve your problem. You know what I mean? Like you pay your bills, right? And then you can take decisions on your own life. Until you're not capable to do that, you still follow someone else's rules.
I see.
Right? So if I still live in my dad's house, I got to follow those rules, not my house. How can I call myself a man?
Yes.
You know, so I think that's the thermometer, I'll put it.
Yeah. When you moved to America, did you come here by yourself, and at what age, or did you come with your family?
Yeah, so I used to travel a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So Jiu-Jitsu gave me this opportunity to know many other countries, like making money doing that, and to fight or to teach seminars. And when I decided to move to US, I was already not too old, but older, probably like 28, 20, 29, yeah, when I decided. And then I start to make some connections and negotiate some contracts, see what I'm going to do, what I will not do, see what's worth, what's not. And my kid was already born.
Oh, wow.
So one of the ideas is to give to him a better future.
Yeah.
Right? So, again, living in Rio de Janeiro is not bad if you're raised there and you know where you're going.
Yeah.
Right? And with the opportunity that I have to be traveling a lot, right? So that was a good lifestyle. But as my kid is raised, that's not about me anymore. That was the way I was seeing. And I think, okay, I need to build a better future for him. coming to us in Dallas was a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Otávio was working at Octagon before me.
Yeah.
Otávio is my professor. And he was moving to Europe. So because he wants to be in Europe. He always loved Italy. Since Brazil, he's loved Italy before he moved to US.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, man, I know you want to move. I know you've been around. I've been in California. I've been in other states. And even Europe, I'm a European citizen too. I could be in Europe. And say, man, Octagon is a great opportunity.
Yeah.
You have a good level of Jiu-Jitsu. I think you're going to fit perfect that if you like to go. I think it's the way. So I decide to move. I bring my kid and everybody come, wife and everybody come together.
So you moved to Dallas initially.
Yes, I come to US a lot, stay 2 months, stay a month, but to move, Dallas.
You picked an awesome place, man. Because
thank you, man. Yeah, Dallas is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been here like 4 or 5 days now, but like I keep telling them, like this is probably the closest thing to a utopian city I've ever seen in my life.
Cool.
It's so beautiful out here. Like I love Dallas, and I can only imagine like having your family and raising a kid here and like becoming more of a man here is like this is the best place to do it. So you picked an awesome spot.
Yeah, one of the things about Dallas that I like, I think it's a great place to raise family. Good economy, like good community, right? If you're honest and you're hard worker, things gonna happen. Yeah. You know? So, but sometimes about the person, right? You can put the person in the best environment ever, but the person is lazy, they don't like to work, they try to be smart. Yeah. This person doesn't go anywhere, right? Yeah. But Dallas is a great place, great community. I make like good friends here, so I don't regret.
Yeah. Also, this area here in Austin is like the peak of jiu-jitsu in the world right now, right? Isn't a lot of stuff happening? Yeah,
Texas, I would say, is a very strong community for martial arts right now.
Was it like that when you came here, or did you see this like overnight kind of renaissance for MMA just take over this area? Like, was it just by luck that this happened?
When I moved to Dallas, was already a lot of jiu-jitsu in Dallas, right? But for sure, for the last 5 years, it was like a boom. Like, changed a lot. Changed a lot, in my opinion. Like, we have a lot of professional fighters moving to Texas, and the jiu-jitsu's gyms was just open one after the other, like boom, boom, all the time. So changed a lot from the last 5 years. Changed for good, right? And you can see also what makes jiu-jitsu grows, in my opinion, the International Federation, IBJJF, helps a lot. Yeah. Right? They do a great job trying to make everything look professional, stimulating competition and things like that. But what makes works better is the gyms. You open a gym, it's a nice place. You can bring your family, you can bring your wife, you can bring your kids. You build a nice community. There's no better advertised than that, right? People change their life for good, not just physically, but mentally. Right, so I think that helps a lot. We have a lot of quality people in Dallas, in Texas, that, right, on the community, and this for sure helps to grow.
What do you think about the competition here, the jiu-jitsu competition here?
Well, to be honest, I don't think it. I don't think about it at all. I do my thing, man. I don't care. I think like losers focus on winners, winners focus on win. I believe on that a lot. I don't care about what the competition doing. I don't try to track or anything like that. I just do what I believe is right. Yeah. And I work hard. That's what I do.
I think Christian was telling us that as of recently, you've been traveling to Austin a lot, and you've been trying to train with guys like Gordon and get in those gyms. Yeah. How do you? Is that true?
Yeah. So what made me go to Austin actually was a very good friend, Roger Grace.
Oh wow.
So he was in Austin. And I was talking to him on the phone. Yeah. Say, man, I'm in Austin. I'm going to do the Lex Friedman podcast. And I will be training. Poor man, come. And it's a driving only of 3 hours. Okay, man, I'm going. Why not? Right? So I will have a chance to see a good friend, get some good rounds for sure. Right? You cannot say it's not going to be good. And I will develop myself. I will make myself better in jiu-jitsu. Plus, I will see a very good friend that lives in London that I don't have the opportunity to see all the time, right? So I did, and there was actually Roger who introduced me to Gordon, right? And I like tough training, very high-level training. I feel that's a chance there. When you train with someone good, it's helping to get better. So, I mean, I don't need to test myself on this. I'm almost 4 years old. Right, but I'm a truly believer that you should keep in, as I told you in the beginning of the podcast, keep developing yourself. You cannot just sit down and think that's enough, right? So that's going there, go with younger people, talent people, right?
Yeah.
Just gonna help me to make myself better. And if I see the way I see it, if I get better, my students get better. I have this responsibility too, so I gotta keep moving, right? I cannot just sit down and think it's enough. So
Yeah, always growing. You're never becoming complacent.
Yeah.
How were your roles with Gordon? Did you roll with him?
I did roll for him. I'm old school. We don't comment training, but
Okay.
I don't think it will be a surprise that it was really tough for me, right?
Yeah.
Man, the guy's awesome, man. Like as a fighter, what are you gonna say? The guy is beating everybody, right? Very technical, like not just physical aspect, but technical aspect. Very smart. I know some people have some prejudgment about him, about some social media talk or things like that, but as a person, to me, he was a very cool guy, very welcome. You know, like after the role, like we kind of changed some thoughts about what happened during the training. Like he was showing some things that he do. Like for me, he's a very nice guy.
That's awesome.
Super talent,
That's
you know. And some people just don't like him for what the way he advertised, let's put it that way. But as a person, to me, man, nothing to say. Like nothing to say. Not just him, but everybody there. There was a Big Dan, which is a guy from there too, super nice guy. The guy's huge, but man, like a teddy bear, super nice. We're gonna roll for him, okay, we'll be tough. But after that, man, we shake hands. We went out to lunch. Super nice guy. Like Meregali, also super nice as a person there. But people take serious, right? Like people are there. It's their lives. They want to go tough because they have a goal, right? So if you want to go there, you gotta be ready for that.
For sure.
Right? Yeah.
How often do you come to like new revelations rolling with these such talented people or like training with these such talented people? Like, are you like just still learning things all the time when you're around these kinds of folk?
I think I was to learn every day, man. Not just around this kind of people. I learn a lot from my students too, right?
Really?
So when you teach, you learn, right? So you not really know something if you cannot break down things. If you cannot explain things really well, you not really know. That's my way to see it. And teaching, I start teaching very young, right? So be a fighter back in the day on my generation, you're not going to make any money. You need to teach. You fight to prove you're good so people, okay, what this guy teach, I want to learn. And then you make money teaching seminars or teaching privates or things like that, right? And I think I learn every day on the mats. Like sometimes the student is not athletic enough to do some movements. And as a coach, I have to figure out I need to help this guy to get out of side control. And he doesn't have as much skills or athleticism as the other guy have. So I need to figure out another way for this guy to escape, which is 300 pounds, maybe a little off shape, let's put it that way. He got to escape. So I learned, they challenge me every day, right? Or a 7 years old, as I told, I have students 7 years old. I was 7 years old, would do a bridge to escape from mount. It's not going to work for 7 years old. So I need to figure out a way to help that guy 7 years old to escape from out, from someone stronger. So every day on the mats, I learn techniques from students sometimes that they see. Oh man, coach, I saw this on this fight in this tournament. Or I saw this guy doing this. Or I went to open mat, he did that. I will always pay attention, right? Maybe some new information that I never saw. So
continuously learning.
For sure, for sure,
you never
man.
stop learning, right?
Yeah, imagine if you are a doctor and you still have the same beliefs of 1970s. Right?
How much more advancement has came since that time?
Same for Jiu-Jitsu. I believe the basic Jiu-Jitsu and the strategy behind Jiu-Jitsu, close the distance, put down, this is not going to change. But the way, the tools that you can use to apply those concepts, that's changing all the time.
Really?
Right? For example, I want to sweep the guy, right? That's my strategy, so I can be on top. Well, nowadays you have thousands of sweeps. Back in the day, maybe you have 100. So it's developing. But the idea, the concepts are the same.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I remember you said that your last competition, you went against a wrestler, right? He had a wrestling background.
Yeah, that's what they told me. Yeah, good wrestler, strong guy.
That's a problem for mine when I train and roll jiu-jitsu. It's like I have a problem with wrestlers. How do you think that you combat that as a jiu-jitsu guy?
I took him down. So for me, that's how I solved my problem. You know what I mean? But if you're a good guard player, this also could be a solution, right?
Yeah.
Again, I like takedowns. I think if you want to be a good fighter, you must learn takedowns.
Sure.
Imagine if you're in a real situation in the street and you need to sit down on your butt to try to solve your problem.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really risk for you.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a good jiu-jitsu fighter, you must learn takedowns because your main strategy is it's on the ground.
Yeah.
If you cannot put this person on the ground, you have a big problem on your fight. I took him down with a judo technique, Sionagi, side Sionagi, that I like a lot. I've been doing for my entire career. But if you're a good guard player, sports situation, it's nothing wrong to pull guard, control, and look for your way out, right? I believe wrestlers, it's not just the technique, because he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He didn't wrestle with me. He did jiu-jitsu with a background wrestling, which makes harder to put him down or to control him for sure. I think the wrestler, he has a strong mindset.
Yes.
They are tough people, right? They are tough. That's the way they do, right? They are. You see, my last fight, as you give as example, I was 7 minutes, like beating, like trying to find a way to tap him. You could see he was on pain and he wasn't quitting.
Yeah.
Like they have a tough mindset. They will fight. You know? I think that's a good thing the wrestlers have.
Yeah,
right?
so you have to develop the same kind of mindset, like this tough mindset, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so pound for pound, like all bias aside, because we know you're like a big jiu-jitsu guy. If you had to like rank what you think the most dominant martial art is, what would you say?
Maybe top 5
Of all times?
Yeah, go ahead. Go like top 5 or top 3. It doesn't have
most
to be just
effective.
I think, man, Roger for me is the great of all times. In pound for pound and absolute, right? I think Roger, he proved that, right? The way he won the worlds like 10 times, right? Division, open division, and the way he won, that matters.
Yeah.
He mount and he X choke. He mount. That's no more supremacy than that. How good you gotta be in control your opponent in order to do the first choke you learn in jiu-jitsu. It's the cross collar choke from the mouth.
Yeah.
So that's the supremacy that he shows on that day. ADCC, no gi.
Yeah.
He taps all the mats, division and open division. He did Bellator. He did UFC. So he very complete. In terms as be a martial artist, not just jiu-jitsu with gi. He did everything and he did really well. But it's hard to say because just change generation. Now people think it's God, but now is a different generation. I think it's moving, right? I don't even see it's fair to say one person. That's many. As you say, for example, Marcelo Garcia did a great job back in the day, like not too big and shows amazing skills, especially on no gi and gi too, for sure. Gordo is doing an amazing job on no-gi, right? Meregali now is doing an amazing job. Like he literally did division, open division, Pan Ams, like very technical, very aggressive, like going through, like really looking for the fight all the time, trying to tap people. That's the people I like to see, right? I don't like much the fights that the person try to build a strategy to it by 2 points. I like the fighter who likes to tap, and Rogers like that. Meregali has been behaving like that, and so far until now. So Gordon too was behaving like that. So I like to watch them. But that's a lot of guys who has a different style who make fun to watch too.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about getting into MMA and fighting?
I thought, but I changed my mind really quick.
Why? Yeah, why is that?
I don't like to get punched in the face, man. It's simple like that, Like, I trained a little bit of MMA back then in Brazil. Vitor Belfort used to come to my gym to train with us a little bit. Sometimes I went to his garage. He used to live in the same neighborhood as me, and we trained a little bit. That's ex-gym was the gym that Silvio Bering was leading a jiu-jitsu program there. Then Anderson Silva, the Spider, was training there. Galvão was training MMA back then too, André Galvão. You have some other guys, Feijão. Destaque was doing the boxing. And I went there to train those guys a little bit. And I say, man, if this guy pay me $1,000, we have the Walid Ismail. He has we call the Jungle Fight. Jungle Fight is an event in Brazil, right? That you don't know if you guys know Walid Ismail. He's old school, Vale Tudo guys before the MMA. We call Vale Tudo, no rules. And he come today on the side of the man. Hey, come here. I want to put in a fight. I'll pay $1,000. And Then I looked to him. I said, yeah, man, I don't know. Let's talk later. Let's see what's going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just training, you know. I'm just trying to get better and understand better the MMA aspect. Blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, 1,000, man, is a good start. And then I thought, man, 1,000 not even pay my tips, you know. Like, and it's just a different lifestyle, you know. The jiu-jitsu that I learned, like, it's the lifestyle is super nice. Like, it's connected to nature, to surf, to hiking, you know. So that's the philosophy that I stand for. And I just think jiu-jitsu is more fun. Yeah. You know, it's less risk. And the lifestyle, it's better. So I stick with jiu-jitsu.
At the peak, do you think jiu-jitsu is the most effective martial art in comparison to the other grappling arts like wrestling or judo or sambo? And then
if
in comparison to other martial arts,
if I think it is or not?
Yes.
By far.
Really?
I'm a jiu-jitsu artist. I think jiu-jitsu is the best, most effective one. But nowadays,
Okay, so what about like in an all-out MMA, no rules scenario? You think jiu-jitsu is the most effective?
I think this was proven already. UFC 1, 2, 3. That's exactly what the UFC was about it.
Yeah.
What Royce Grace walk into a gi, which is not really smart if you think about it, right?
No.
You walk into MMA with a gi, people use those grips to control. He did with a gi to try to say, I'm jiu-jitsu guy. Yeah. And man, he beats everybody, which was from different martial arts. But now it's hard to make this comparison because now it's mixed.
Yes.
Nobody's going to step in a cage without knowledge of Muay Thai, right? Or without knowledge of boxing or wrestling to take someone down or jiu-jitsu if you go to the ground, right? Nobody will do that. So it's hard to say, right? I'm sure Sambo is very effective, but I'm sure the Sambo guy also studied jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
I'm sure the boxing guy is very effective, right? How are you going to say strike is not important? It is. But the guy doesn't come with box only. He also knows jiu-jitsu. So jiu-jitsu changed, man, the way people fight in the entire glove. That's a fact. Yeah. Back in the day, people just strike. Jiu-jitsu changed the way people fight in the glove. Like, changed completely.
The whole game.
Man. For sure. You have before and after Chris. You have before and after jiu-jitsu. That's no doubt. My beliefs, that's no doubt.
Yeah. Wrestling is pretty effective, too. Wrestlers will argue that wrestling is more effective because of the takedowns and the control aspect of it. But a wrestler can't not learn jiu-jitsu and be an effective grappler in an MMA scenario.
Because you could take somebody down.
I respect, for sure, but I respect wrestling a lot. I love wrestling. I watch wrestling competitions. I study wrestling takedown as a coach. I think it's important as a fighter. Yeah. But I think they have that chance to prove. Dan Savage was a good wrestler, right? The one wrestler. How much he weighs back in the 250?
Who are you talking about?
Dan Savage, I think. Was Dan Savage? If I'm not wrong.
I'm not sure.
He's a big guy, wrestling guy. I think he fought Royce back in the day in the UFC.
Okay.
Royce steps him. Yeah. It's half his size. Yeah. So I think but it's hard to say the most effective. I think it's way more, as I told before, the martial artist himself, not just the martial arts. Yeah. It's the person. Right? I can see this on the mats. I have some students, I teach him 4 techniques. They're already doing really good with the students who's been here for 3 months. Some people, it's natural. They're skillful. They have the thing inside. You know, they understand better. They're born for that. Yeah. Right? This helps a lot.
That's pretty cool.
One thing I was interested in, since you've been doing this for so long, like, how do you stay healthy, I guess, to generalize it? How do you stay, like, your body keeping everything together, not getting injured? Or what's your recovery like?
Well, nowadays, my goal is teach. I fight because I love it. Yeah. Because it helped me to keep in progress and learn. Yeah. And I can give better knowledge to my students, or I can keep building experience to share. Yeah. In seminars or with my students. But I think it's a lifestyle, right? I don't do diet. That's my life. You know what I mean? It's not like, I will diet this month. Yeah. No, man, that's no such a thing. Like, I eat with conscience all the time. Of course, I would do a beer in a barbecue on a Sunday sometimes with my friends. Yeah, man, that I'm living my life. I'm enjoying my life. Yeah. But in general, like my everyday, I don't even like to do something like that's not feed my body well. Yeah. You know, so Helio Gracie used to say a lot, right? The wellness comes from your mouth. Yeah. Right? So it's about what you eat. Carlos Gracie used to say that a lot too, right? It's about what you eat. It's super important. It's like you're going to put a bad gasoline in your car, inspect your car to have a higher performance. Yeah. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Right. So I believe in what you eat, as I told you about before, the self-preservation, what you eat, what you see, what you hear, and the people that you have around you. That's very important aspect to keep your life well and good and with good wellness.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you into like weight training or anything outside of martial arts?
Yeah, I do. Back in the day, I didn't like much as a young kid, like 16, 17.
Yeah.
Like, I used to hiking, to swim, like natural sports things, like more in contact with nature. But with the time, I could see the difference of strength, right? Plus, you lifting weights, this would be really good for you to preserve your body and avoid injuries.
Yeah.
Like I do ice baths, right? It's helped me a lot nowadays, especially because I'm not 20 years old again. So to recover helps a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Helps your mind, helps to reduce inflammation. There's a lot of benefits for ice baths too.
Ice baths are amazing. We started doing those down in Wilkes-Barre during like the winter time. We would just let our pool freeze overnight and then hop in it in the morning. The cold plunges are crazy, but like for the mental aspect of it, because like it really puts you in a different place, especially for me, because I'm like still really young, and there hasn't been many times in my life where I had to deal with something that was that quick but that hard, if that makes sense. Like just the whole mental
Make
aspect
a lot of
it.
sense, man.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, no, I do, but more or less for like what kind of like mental state it puts you in during, and then how you feel after. Like you just feel like alive. It's like in a weird way like a drug. It's like you get in there, these 2, 3, 4 minutes, it might feel like a half hour. It might feel like literally forever, an eternity in those 2 minutes. But when you get out, it's like you feel like a weird blissfulness in life, but also in your body. Like your body feels like a completely different body.
I agree with you, man. I do ice baths since 2016, I think. 2017 maybe. I don't recall exactly the time, but probably 2016 was the first time that I did.
Yeah.
And then I see Greg is the owner of the gym here, and he was the guy who has this fridge behind his yard. we were having conversation about I work for Octagon and all that. And then he opened the fridge. I said, man, I'm going to work with this guy. Is crazy, man. Yeah. He's throwing himself in a fridge full of ice, you know. I don't know if this guy is really well. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm going to work this guy. But then I start to understand. No, don't worry. Start to explain me better. Right? He's a super nice guy, by the way. And we become friends. And he starts to say, no, man, that's some benefits on that. And I start to study a little bit. And I read a book, What Doesn't Kill Us. Right? There's a good book to talk about the ice baths. And I start to understand, but I feel, okay, I will try that. Because I like challenge, right? That's what moved me forward many times in my life. And as I start, I think the benefits, the ice bath, it's multiples, right? As you just say, inflammation. Plus, man, when you do a tough thing and you do that, this builds your esteem as well, right? I did.
It's rewarding.
It's tough. I did.
Yeah.
Right? This builds your confidence. It's accomplishment, right? And this is also good for the mental part. But I'm agree with you. It's like you reset your body. Like a drug. And it's a meditation to bring you to that present moment for sure. Yeah. You're not going to think about other things. It's fucking cold, you know, and you're inside the water, you know. And I say, man, I'm here. I cannot think about anything else. So try to be comfortable when you feel uncomfortable. And that's Jiu-Jitsu. That's the nature of Jiu-Jitsu. You have that guy, 250 pounds on top of you, shoulder in your face, knee on your stomach, and you try to stay comfortable during this stress situation or uncomfortable situation in order to take good decisions.
That's what I think I love the most about it, is like that mental state it actually puts you in to like find a way to, I guess, just be able to deal with the suck of the experience that you're involving yourself in. And you can apply that to so many different things. You can apply it to creativity or business or your martial art or anything. Like, this situation sucks, like it blows. How can I make this, I don't know, just overall a learning experience, or just make it so that I can just deal with these problems in life a little bit easier? That's why I like simulating those kinds of things very often. Like the sauna, I love the sauna, seeing how long I can do it for. Like how long until I push that point where there might be no return, but I still like find a way to make it to that next minute, if that makes sense. Like I love that about those kinds of things, like ice baths and saunas and cardio and weight training, anything like that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you purposely put yourself in a difficult situation that's going to cause anxiety and stress, and you have to train yourself to be calm in stressful situations, because inevitably life's going to put you in stressful situations. But if you're well equipped in dealing with stress or hardship, that's just going to take you further. That's going to help you to develop as a person.
Simulating chaos. That's like what we like to call it. It's just like a weird like little phrase to coin, but it's like you simulate, you control chaos. It's like this could be a problem you're really dealing with in life, but let's find a way to like be able to harness it ourselves, put ourselves in that position, and then find a way out of it, rather than like when life will just randomly throw shit like that at you and you won't know how to deal with it, but you get to like create it and control it yourself.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I think like that's Vice Beth helps on that, Jiu Jitsu help on that.
Yeah.
I believe that in life you cannot be too comp all the time, right?
Yeah.
You gotta keep looking for something that make you uncomfortable in a good way to say,
Yeah.
right? So you keep making progress, you keep develop yourself,
Yeah.
right? That's super important, right?
Yeah.
My kid was learning to ride a bike,
Yeah.
and he has the help
The
wheels.
training wheels.
He started to feel too comfortable. What I
Yeah.
did, I took one off. I don't want to. No, man. Let's take one off. But it will be hard. Do it. And then, okay, he's doing it for one. And then it's too comp. Now take one more off. No, I don't want. But no, man. Now you got to learn to balance for real.
Yeah.
You know? And then he built the confidence and he's accomplished and he was happy after that.
Yeah.
I can do it. And that's life.
Raph, didn't you recently get into a motorcycle accident?
Yeah, not too recently anymore, but recently
ago?
because I was adult already fighting, and I was already a black belt, and I think it was around maybe 2012.
Oh, okay.
Then
A while ago.
Yeah, I had first a shoulder surgery, right? So in the Worlds in 2010, my shoulder popped out in the quarterfinals, and I had already planned to go to Australia after to spend 2-3 months there in a gym teaching and to fight the Pan Pacifics also. That happened in Australia, in Melbourne. And I was everything set and planned, and I tried to recover my shoulder real quick as possible because my shoulder, I actually get hurt before the Worlds in a state tournament in Rio.
Yeah.
I tried to recover for the Worlds and ended up popping out. Wasn't good enough. And I knew that I had to do the surgery, but I was trying to push forward to keep doing what I need to do for the year. And then I ended up in Australia, and then I teach the army there in Brisbane, based in Brisbane, like the infantry there.
That's awesome.
So I had some plans that I think, man, that's important for my career. I'll keep pushing. I will keep doing. So after I win the Pampex there, and my shoulder was like really bad. I thought, okay, now I need to stop and do this surgery. So I did this surgery on my shoulder, and it took maybe 8 months for me to start to feel my arm doing well. I goes back into training, planning for another year ready. I will do this. I will compete. I will travel. I will teach seminar. And then one day going to the gym to teach, I was in a motorcycle and one car hit me and I had a very bad accident that broke my back, my hips, a little bit of my face on the side because of the impact of the helmet. Broke my other shoulder. I was just recently recovered from my left shoulder and then broke my right shoulder. So it was a multiple fractures. And that took me maybe 1.5 years to recover from all that. I was like maybe a month lay down in a bed, then I progressed this to the wheelchair for maybe 6 more weeks or 4 weeks, and then I was working with the stickers for maybe 3 months, and then slowly coming back. The doctors didn't recommend much for me to do jiu-jitsu anymore. It was a little bit tough, right?
What's the mental state like at that time? Like, did things get dark? Were you seeing the light at the end of the tunnel? Like, how was that for you?
Jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu. That's what I learned since as a kid, right?
Yeah.
You tap, start over.
Yeah.
Start over and figure it out, man.
Yeah.
How do you fail? Do you fail by this? Fail is information. Let's try to figure out how to do better.
Yeah.
And that was my mindset. Of course, man, I have support of family, friends, right? I'm very lucky and blessed by that.
Yeah.
I have family, friends. I have friends that was already living in Europe who, man, come teach a seminar here, man. Let's start over. And then I'm very, very grateful for all of them. And plus my friends in Brazil, my family give me amazing support, right? So I'm very lucky on that. Wasn't that bad as could be if I didn't have these people on my side, you know. That after I recovered, then in 2016, I decided to sign up for the Europeans, which is a good tournament in Portugal. And that was very frustrating, actually, like, because I was trying to get big, like working out a lot to try to compensate. I was very scared about my back because of all the doctor says, and I decided to sign up to a big tournament. I'm not gonna do a small tournament. I'm gonna do a big tournament. That's it. Let's just go 100%. And then when I get there, I get in a 50-50 position. I get stalling the entire match, and the referee give it to my opponent. That match, it was my first match. I went all the way down to Portugal in Europe just to lose on the first match. First time in my career that I didn't make a podium.
Wow.
Yeah.
I said, damn, man. That was like, no, actually second time. The one that was my shoulder pop out in the 2010. It was the first time that I lost in the first match for sure.
Wow.
And then I was very frustrated, man. And then come those thoughts, right, man, I should stop. The doctor was right. I'm never going to be good enough again. My body's not the same. I'm super scared. What I can, what I cannot do. And then, man, again, Jiu-Jitsu, I decided, you know what? One more time.
Come back.
And I signed up one more. And then I did good. And it was like, I think it was Dallas Open here in Dallas. If I'm not wrong, with the second one that I did after my surgery. And then, okay, let's sign up again.
Yeah.
And then,
that fired you up.
Yeah, let's keep going, right? We cannot stop. And then I keep going.
It's like white belt phase all over again. Just start all over.
Exactly.
That's awesome, man. So how do you usually prepare and train for those big tournaments? Is it like a fight camp, or how do you go about it as a jiu-jitsu guy?
Yeah, man, I think you should have a lifestyle if you want to be good, right? You cannot think, okay, I'm going to sign up. Now I have 2 months to be good. Or I have 2 months to eat health. As we discussed before, it's your lifestyle, man. Or you are into the lifestyle, or you're not going to be high level, right? But if you are now here, that's not really a professional competitive team in Octagon. We do try to help people to make their lives better, but we have a competition team, right? But I think if you want to be a professional, live just by that, you really need a good group. Do a camp for a World's tournament or Panams. You should do a camp for sure. Make 2 months, like focus 100%.
Yeah.
I would say the lifestyle plus that extra that you're going to put on the camp will help you a lot, right? Nutrition, physical conditioning, a good coach who help you to not just study yourself, but also study your opponent or the people that you're going to face on your category, on your super fight. All those are things that's really important for you to be successful on that, I think.
That's cool. How would you explain your jiu-jitsu game? Like, what's your game like in comparison to other people? Like, their style of jiu-jitsu. What's your jiu-jitsu style?
Before my back surgery, I used to play a lot of guard, believe it or not. Right? So I was very comfortable. I was a guard player. I was always good on takedowns. Would give me the ability to surprise a lot of people. Sometimes they would think I will pull guard, I was taking down. Sometimes they think I will take down, I was pulling guard. And I was very, right? I could do everything. And that's always was an extra thing I ace on my sleeve for my strategies on the fights. Well, nowadays, I like to take down more. After my back surgery, I was trying to be more focused on takedowns because I wanted to be on top. I don't want to put my body in positions that could put my back in risk, especially in the first 2 years competing after my back surgery. So I develop a lot of top games like passing. Well, nowadays, I take down, I pass, and I always look for submission. Some of my fights I pull guard, right? But not, I would say 80% I play on top. With very particular opponents, I will pull guard. Or if I want to prove myself that I can do something different that I've been developing, I will try in the tournament to pull guard just to do some very specific thing that I've been working.
To test your own techniques and strategies and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Jiu-jitsu is a game of logic, don't you think?
Sure.
You have to be logical. You have to be preemptive, and you have to have tactics. Don't you play chess?
I do.
You're good. You're a fan of chess?
I am. I compete chess too as a kid.
Really?
I do it.
What's your rating? Do you have like a current rating?
I don't, man. I did as a kid. I was doing chess and I compete for my school.
Really?
They have like a school competition. So all the schools on the state will have what the Olympics between the schools.
That's
they call
cool.
it that way, something like that. I don't know if that's the right way to say in English, but it was like an Olympics between schools in Rio. And I did compete for my school as a chess player.
Is chess big in Rio?
Man, yeah, decently.
Yeah.
Right. Not like jiu-jitsu, not like soccer, but we do learn chess. Like the schools will teach you that. The good schools,
Do you think it applies to life?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Chess is a cool game.
Chess is a war, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like fight. Chess is a war.
Yeah.
You have a king to protect.
Yeah.
You have your lady to protect.
Yeah.
You know? You have a responsibility as a general to move your piece to the other side and try to don't let your soldiers die during the process, you know? There is a strategy involved. You got to be calm, you know? And that's a strategy. I believe on that,
That's what I love the most about chess is I love the idea of like strategy and setting a plan and executing. Like
perfect
with the like the tools or the cards that I'm dealt? Like, what do you have? And you can apply that to, I think, really anything in life. Like, what cards were you dealt? And based off of that knowledge, what piece can I move? Where can I go? What can I do? And I think, like, in that aspect, chess really applies to life.
You should train jiu-jitsu. I don't know why you're not training.
Don't
you think?
I
tried to get him.
Boy, you gotta get into jiu-jitsu, man.
Try.
Because that's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is a human chess, man.
And I've
everything
heard
you
that.
just say is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's a strategy. You know, it's trying to be smart. Like, it's trying to use your brain more than your biceps. You know, like that's jiu-jitsu. It's pure jiu-jitsu. What just say you like to be on compo.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu give a lot of that every day.
I actually got my first MMA practice in ever here at Octagon like 2-3 days ago.
You did? You like it?
Yeah, training with like Ryan and them boys, and it was crazy. Yeah, it was like a lot different because I'm like somebody who is very entertained by MMA. Like I'm a diehard fan of like MMA and the UFC, and I can like from a technical aspect really understand a lot of the things that are going on. Like I'm no like the title analyst. I would never call myself that, but I really like the idea, and I think I could break a lot of things down. But personally, I've never experienced a lot of these situations. So in a lot of ways, I think I fundamentally don't understand. I understand it by watching, but I don't understand it by performing. So like when we're sitting here just going over simple like 1-2 pieces, I'm like, in my head, you think you can do these things way better than you actually could. And then you get here and you really do get humbled. You're like, damn, like I really don't know anything. So like that was one aspect I thought was pretty cool about it.
If you watch UFC in the bar, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have that guy who's already drunk say, that's bullshit. How this guy cannot escape? He just sit on his chest.
Yeah.
Just push him off. He have no idea, right? So when exactly what you say, when you experiment that, you say, man, that's not how it is, how it looks on the TV, right?
Yeah.
So I agree with you. You gotta try. You gotta start jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah.
Everything you've been saying, like the ice bath,
Yeah.
the toughness, the meditation,
Yeah.
like man, jiu-jitsu is gonna release so much of stress,
Yeah.
right? It's gonna give you so much more than self-defense. You have no idea.
Is that the martial art you'd recommend to people that are in the phase of like trying to figure themselves out, that are into those kinds of things that you talk about, like strategy, chess, like mindfulness, like what you practice? Would that be the martial art you recommend to most people, like people that are not involved in the MMA realm?
I'm suspect to say I'm a jiu-jitsu person. You know, like I stand for jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is my life.
Yeah.
Right. So since I was a kid, my life is being jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So, but in another hands, even though I'm suspect to say because of that, I'm maybe a good person to say because of that.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, if it's not good, why I'm doing for my entire life?
Yeah.
Why I'm passing this knowledge for my kid?
Yeah.
Right? If I don't believe it's good, maybe I could be just a sale guy who tried to sell something. But if I sell to my kid, the person that I love most, maybe I believe.
True.
Right?
No, that's a good point.
I believe so. Jiu-jitsu is the amazing tool. Of course, all the other martial arts, if you have, again, a good coach, a good instructor, they also going to have amazing tools. Sports in general, man. Come on. You get a high-performance athlete in NBA or NFL or in soccer. All the sports are good. Swimming, they always going to help someone to develop himself as a human being, especially if he's competing. I always try to motivate my student or to give them incentives to compete because it make you a better person. Man. The process, winning or not, the process that you put yourself there. You know, the discipline to wake up and go and do what you got to do. Because training, because you feel good to training today, but not training tomorrow. Today I'm a little tired. But when you sign up, man, the fight starts. You're tired. Your opponent don't care. You better go to the gym. I'm going to beat you up. You know, so it's the commitment.
Wow. That's crazy. So you heard it here. Jiu-jitsu. I got to give it a try. It's like, for me, it's just, I know it's like this simple cop out, but like my life is so hectic right now and so crazy, and we're doing all these crazy missions and traveling around and doing these things that I feel very unrooted in like my natural area right now. So I wouldn't know where to go. I know like we will be going back home and there's gyms all around us, but like I don't necessarily know like the strategical approach to like finding where you want to go, where you best fit. Like I guess I don't understand that as like really at all, like the whole process of it.
Yeah, after the podcast, if you want, I can give you some thoughts about it. But you know, if you start, you're already different than most of the people. You're already ahead. Right? You gotta start, man. Go to a gym, try to look for a good gym nearby your house and start. And trust in the process. Right? If you see it's not a good vibe, it's not a good environment, find another one. You know? But you gotta start. You gotta start and thirst in the process. Give yourself 12 months, and you're gonna see you're gonna be a different animal after those 12 months. You know, your confidence, your skills. You're gonna make friends. You know, like good people to hang out with. Like, there's a lot of benefits.
It's funny that you say that, because a lot of people that watch this show like know that I say that pretty much all the time. But it's especially with like creativity, because this is like my like. I guess creating content and doing these kinds of things is my jujitsu to you. So like, and that's exactly how I recommend to everybody, is like, you literally just got to do it. You just got to start. You got to like figure it out. You got to, nothing's ever going to be perfect. The situation will never feel right, I guess you could say. Or if it, I don't know. It was never like that for me. So that's like the very same principle I live by. And I preach that all the time on this podcast, is that you literally have to just begin. Like, you just got to start. If you're interested in doing it or you want to do it, you kind of really just got to figure it out. So yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because I say that to people all the time.
Yeah, you know how I start jiu-jitsu? Usually as a kid, your parents took you to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
They want to drive. Hey, I want you to do some sport. I will give you those options: basketball, jiu-jitsu, karate, swimming. What do you want to do? With me, it was different. I was maybe 9 years old when I started jiu-jitsu, and I come to my parents and say, "Hey, they start the program, and I want to do it."
Yeah.
So that's how I start. And after 1 year, my first coach moved to another neighbor, and they finished the program. And then I have a friend in my school that his dad is a famous comedian in Brazil, Sérgio Malandro. His son, Serginho, he was doing jiu-jitsu with Vinicius and Otávio, and he'd mentioned about it. And again, I went to my parents and said, "Hey, I want to do it."
Yeah.
So this gym, I say, my parents, they both work all day long, so they couldn't really drive me to anywhere.
Yeah.
And I was maybe 19 years old. So what I did, okay, for this gym, I can ride a bike.
Yeah.
I can go with the bike. So I took my decision. I took the bike. I ride to the gym.
Yeah.
I know I start to know people there. I have Serginho introduce me to those people first. And then can I give him some information about put on the paper?
Yeah.
The guy put on the paper. Then I get this paper, took home. Hey, that's the price. You're going to pay. Boom. Okay, you want to really do it? Okay. Boom. Get the paper, get the check. I go back myself. Boom. Give the check. And I started. So when you want to do it, right, man, like that's no excuse.
You'll
know?
figure it out.
Yeah.
Did you stick to that whole time? Like, did you ever go through a phase where like maybe you were doing it for a little while and you thought maybe this isn't for me, or was it? Not for me. I always have fun doing jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. That's why I do jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Right? I mean, some people, they don't have another option. That's my way to be successful in life. I don't have opportunity to go to a college or to go to a good school. Yeah. That's not what happened for me. Thanks God, right? I was doing college when I decided to quit college to do only jiu-jitsu. Yeah. When I got my black belt. So I love jiu-jitsu. I choose jiu-jitsu. I'm not using jiu-jitsu because I failed in some area in my life. And now, okay, I will do jiu-jitsu because I couldn't be a doctor. That's what I really want to be. I couldn't be an attorney because that's what I want to be. I want to do jiu-jitsu. That's it. Yeah. Since the beginning, I was doing financials in a very good college called IBMAC in Brazil. It was a very good one. And I decided to quit and do only jiu-jitsu. That was my choice. But yes, you can really get burnout, especially if you try to do this as a job. Because now, again, you don't go to the gym because you feel good. Yeah. Or you're not going to the gym because today is a sunny day and I want to surf. Yeah. As is your job, you go to the office. That's it. Yep. Yeah. Some days you can get burnout, right? And you got to figure out tools to don't let this make you quit or stop or don't do what you got to be doing.
Yeah. Was that a hard decision for you to leave college and to pursue this, your passion, full time?
Yeah, it was. It was, especially because my dad doesn't want me to do that, of course. Yeah. And it was not just college, man. Like, he started a business with me and my sisters. And to try to push me out of jiu-jitsu. No. Let's open this business. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna pay the construction, and then you pay the rest. We're gonna figure out. Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna help. Give you some support because my father was a businessman. Yeah. And I quit college. Yeah. And I quit the idea to have my own business in retail. So it was a tough decision. Yeah. A tough decision, even though because I was against what my parents believed was the best for my life. So has to decide that and took the decision as a young age. 18, 19 was really hard.
But that proves that you could still be successful and happy and fulfilled with life even if you don't decide to go to college. Like a lot of times in America, it's very it's very traditional that once you leave school, you must go to college, and that is the way to success.
Yeah.
But there's other ways, there's other paths that you can take to still build a successful life.
Yeah, I see myself as a successful person because I'm happy.
For sure.
Right, so I wake up in the morning. I'm gonna work with something that brings me happiness.
Yeah.
You know, I go. Imagine you go to your work, and you get in your work. You open the office, and all your friends are there.
Yeah.
They are my students.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened in my life. I wake up. Maybe my mood is not the best on that day for any reason that something happened. I wake up. I go to the office. I open the office.
Yeah.
All my friends is inside the office. It's my students. They become friends. So it's a great environment, and I choose what I love. So I don't regret at all. I quit college. I did a little bit. I did maybe 1.5 years of college. I decided to stop it, and Jiu-Jitsu was my college.
Yeah.
Think about how long it take for you to be a, I don't know, attorney.
4 years, 8 years maybe.
Yeah, how long it take for you to get a black belt?
8 to 10 years,
Yeah.
right?
It's a big college, huh?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy, man.
I think-
you know, like, you got to conquer that. You cannot pay for those things, you know?
Yeah.
I saw a speech when Lex Friedman got his black belt that he went through all of these prestigious universities and he's around all of these very, very intelligent people. But he said that he learned more on these mats than he ever did in university.
Which is crazy coming from a guy.
As an
I
individual.
saw this speech,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, right?
Yeah.
When you think about it, right? So that's more knowledge in the mats than in many schools out
Yeah.
there, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you start to link with, for example, here at the gym, I'm very lucky and very blessed. My students are awesome, man. Like, they are awesome as a person. They are awesome as a success man or success woman in life. Like, they are very friendly and very supportive. Like, well, I learn from my students too. Sometimes I want to take a decision in my life relate to financial or to something.
Yeah.
Man, I have this amazing businessman on my side doing the private, me after private. I say, hey, Mike, let me ask you something. Hey, John, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
And you get that free consulting, right?
Yeah,
Say,
yeah.
hey, man,
Networking.
boy, this guy tried to make me pay this, and he's at man, what do you think about that? So Jiu-Jitsu community, right? We help each other.
You get
like,
such a wide variety of people in this sport, I feel like.
Yeah.
People from all walks of life.
And it is the same back, right? Because if I finish the class and the class was sweeps, technically I have no obligation to do nothing else. It sweeps today, the class is over. But if that guy come to me, hey man, I saw this takedown. Can you give me a little bit of attention on this?
Yeah.
The class is over. I maybe have a dinner with my girlfriend, whatever. But yeah, man, walk in. Let's go see again. I give him this 15, 20 minutes, which could be I should charge for that. It's a private, right? I don't. That's the friendship. That's the camarada thing.
Yeah.
Not always about money. You know what I mean? Like, it's about the community.
Yeah.
It's about help each other. I think that's the thing.
That's beautiful, man.
That's great.
What was it like for you? Like, are you a celebratory guy? Like, do you celebrate, like, milestones in your life? Is that, like, the kind of person you are?
If I celebrate what? Sorry?
Like, big achievements in your life?
I celebrate for sure, man.
One thing I wanted to ask
I
is, like,
celebrate everything.
due to the fact that you're so dedicated to jiu-jitsu, like, what was it like, or what was it like obtaining your black belt? Like, how crazy was that moment in your life?
Yeah, that's funny. Because I think, like most of the people, I wasn't feeling ready.
Yeah.
Right, to be a black belt. I was young. I'm maybe 20 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
Damn.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe 4 days before I turned 20 or something like that. I was very young, but I started very young too.
Yeah.
And I always took serious. I would train 3 times per day, not per week, right? And people say time is very relative, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been a brown belt for 10 years, or I trained for 10 years. Okay, man, but how many hours on the mat on these 10 years? You've been 10 years, but you go once a week, twice a week.
Yeah.
You miss the entire month, then you come back.
Yeah.
And you have that guy who was 3 hours per day or 5 hours per day every day for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's very relative this time that you're holding your belt or you're doing jiu-jitsu. And my black belt, I wasn't feeling ready at all. But I trust on my coach, right? They say I'm ready. That's what it is, right? You cannot tell to someone who has holding the knowledge and has way more experience than you that you know better.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta be humble even to accept the hank they put in you. And it's a little bit, I was well raised on the mat, so I could understand the responsibility, what be a black belt is. So that's why I was feeling like, man, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I want this responsibility. You know, I don't know if I'm ready for that. right? That's the way I felt.
Yeah.
And then this make me work harder. I say, you know what? Now I gotta keep working even more because I don't want to be the average doctor. I don't want to be the average black belt. So let's keep working. So this actually pushed me forward.
Yeah.
Right?
And now you have your 4th degree.
Yeah.
How do the degrees work when it comes to black belt jiu-jitsu?
The first degree, second and third degree is every 3 years. So 9 years, you're going to have a third degree. Then it's 5 years to get a 4th degree. Almost 5th degree now. Pretty soon, I think it's maybe the end of next year, if I'm not wrong. I think it's 5 more years, if I'm not wrong. Then 7 years to be a quarter belt. I think it works more that way. That's the IBJJF stands, right? So that's other organization, maybe that's the difference. I stand for the IBJJF. I really believe they're doing an excellent job, and the way they organizing, and I think it makes a lot of sense what they're doing, and I really believe they try to do good for the community in many ways. It's still a business. They want to make money for sure, like another business, but I believe they have the best intention to do it, and it's very well organized. So for the IBJJF standards, that's what it is.
A coral belt. I can't imagine something like that. That's crazy.
I don't even think I've ever even heard of that. I've heard of like the red belt.
Red belt, it's after the coral belt.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah. The Vinicius, my coach in Brazil, he's a coral belt. To have idea, he got his black belt in 1989.
Oh my God.
So he's a coral belt since 2020, I think. So I think it's 31 years. So I'm not wrong. The math is 31 years as a black belt to become a coral belt.
Yeah. So theoretically, you probably see yourself doing this for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, I don't think I have another choice now.
Do you think like you're basically just bound to achieve that then at some point, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I love what I'm doing, man. Like I don't see me doing another thing. I can complement with other things like maybe a side business, I don't know, but that's what I love. You know, I never want to be the office person, right? So I always want to be on the mat. So
that's the most important part of life, I think, is just doing like whatever makes you happy. We had a multi-hour long conversation about that last night. Just doing what, like, I guess just simply what makes you happy. Like, what do you live for? This is what you live for. I could really get that feeling from you.
Yeah, because it's not just the martial arts is the philosophy. I truly believe, and I live my life through those values. I don't say I'm perfect. Everybody do mistakes. Everybody do wrong things, and they get better. The thing is, you did wrong, but you want to fix it. You want to be better. You did wrong because you had no knowledge or because you were not seeing that was wrong. That's one thing. And you have the person who intentionally keep doing wrong. Those are two different persons. I really believe in the jiu-jitsu, the martial art philosophy, right? And I believe this really bring values to everybody's life and make people's lives better, right? So I don't see my life doing different than that.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
I'm gonna ask you, turn the table.
Okay.
Why you guys doing podcast?
Oh,
that's all you're passionate about it?
Yeah. I guess, I mean, how I typically try to explain it to a lot of people is that, like, one point, for a very long time in my life, I kind of felt lost. Like, I didn't really know, like, what direction I was going to take in life. And I was always really interested and drawn to the idea of creating content that made people feel a certain way, that made people feel like I did one time, that I was really lost, but I witnessed people that were so clear and they had so much clarity on like their life and impacting others and helping their society and helping the world. And just, that's kind of the mission that I think I'm on specifically. I don't want to speak for him, but I think it's basically just, I have a passion for creating things and like I was talking about earlier, setting a plan and executing. I like the idea of the many gratifications that comes with obtaining something you're very interested in obtaining. Like just the thought of being able to do this. At a certain point in my life, I was not good at talking to people. I couldn't really communicate very well. I was a very quiet kid, but I always knew deep down, like that was what was inside of me and it had to come out and I had no way of figuring out how to do it. But that just brings me back to like, what I loved, the idea of creating content or creating things that made people feel good. Like at one point, that's what I was consuming. So I guess in a way, and also I love networking with people. I love highlighting awesome things that other people do because I think that shines insight. Like you could hit a whole different array of niches that way. Like there's a whole group of people that like watching our show because of MMA and you're going to shine a light on what you do and why it's so revolutionary for people to get involved in MMA, and they get to see that and maybe like let it sit on their mind and they get to think about it. But I guess for me, it's like really just to like show people that, it's my classic phrase, but I think like what we were talking about earlier, it's possible. Like it's possible to do the things that you want to do, and it's possible to obtain the things that you want to obtain in your life, even if it like the road doesn't make any sense, even if you don't know like how you're going to get there, or like what's next, what do I got to do, what's the next step. Like even if nothing makes sense to you, like it's possible to obtain that thing that you want to obtain. And I just want to like make the world a better place, I guess. I want to shine light on things that I don't think there's a lot of light shined on. I just want to do right by my people in this world.
And for me, I think it's a vessel for self-development. And I think it's also a vessel to provide value to other people.
Yeah.
So by sitting down and recording these conversations, one, I'm documenting my progression, and it's forcing me to develop as an individual. I have to learn to listen. I have to learn to speak and to be able to articulate myself. Also, I get the opportunity to meet some of the world's coolest people. You know, Jiu-Jitsu 4th degree black belts who do seminars all around the world and travel the world. Scientists, all different types of people from all different walks of life.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for me to learn and to network with good people while also documenting my progression and giving your value or the guest's value to the people who watch. You know, because you have a lot of insight that a lot of these people could benefit from who watch. So I think it's just an ultimate hack. I think it's just something that can help to grow my life, grow who I am as a person, for sure. And it's a craft. It's like anything else. It's like jiu-jitsu. It's a craft. It's something you continue to get better at. It's something you continue to innovate.
Yeah.
And I like that type of challenge. I want to, you know, keep on getting better at things. I think that's for me what life is all about, is doing something, not being so great at it, but doing something that you love, and then just growing and growing and getting better and getting better. That's for me.
It's a continuum development, like jiu-jitsu, right? Life in jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're together on that.
Or just anything you're passionate about. Like, I feel like all those things are somewhat interchangeable. Like, you just take the word life out, or you take the word jiu-jitsu out. You can fill it in with anything like you're passionate about. It's like, just to like dumb it down, it's like your journey. Like, it's your development. It's like how, like I keep wording it, like how are you going to get to that next step? Setting a plan, executing, attacking, doing those things. And you can apply pretty much anything. You could take that any word out, put it in whatever you're interested in doing, but there will be development that comes with it over time. And if you really love it, you'll do it for years. And at one point you'll look back like, man, I really sucked that first year we were doing podcasts. But then when this episode drops, your episode, I believe will be number 52. Imagine what it'll be like when episode 1000 comes out. Like, how much better would you be?
It's really interesting what you say, because I was looking at black belt match that I did in 2009.
Yeah.
That was like 14 years ago.
Yeah.
I was thinking, man, if they're Rafael, face the Rafael nowadays,
Yeah.
that won't be good for him.
It'd be bad news, right?
It will be bad for him, or a bad day for this guy,
Yeah.
you know. But the amount of things that I learned, and I was a black belt already, right? The amount of things, the experience that I built, you know, like in many details, not just technical, but strategy, maturity, right? Have a better maturity, better mindset to do things on my everyday, not just on the behavior on the fight, but to get ready for the fight in everything. In everything, like, it make a lot of sense. And you guys do a great job, man. It's a very nice podcast.
Thank you very much.
Man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting. I'm very honored to be here.
Yeah, I'm honored to have you on, man. We really wanted to make this happen. Our entire idea of coming down here, well, like, I wanted to just visit Dallas and see what it's like. And, like, it's always been on my bucket list to, like, not only travel, but to come here specifically, because I really wanted to do this. We came here to, like, take a chance and, like, to bet on ourselves, to be like, can we travel across the country to film pods with bad people, like these crazy people that, like, we are really interested in talking to, that, I don't know, like, in a lot of ways we really bet on ourselves to come down here and just figure this out. So I don't know. I'm very honored to have you on. We are really interested in doing this podcast. I thank you for sharing your time with us. We were going for an hour and a half, right about now, hour and 33 minutes. So it was a fun conversation.
Yeah,
man.
that was good, man. Thank you so much for inviting. Very fun conversation.
Thank you, Rafael Lang.
Thank you, man, for help to set up that show. Thank you, guys.
Of course, man.
Right,
Yes, sir.
great podcast. And yeah, it's the lifestyle, right? That's one of the things to do. Just to finish, like you say, man, look the lifestyle.
Yeah.
You're doing your podcast, but you're traveling, you know, a new city, you know, you're going to make new friends. And then you guys were here at the gym, you guys were training for 2 days here, making new friends, make good connections. pretty soon you guys gonna make, I don't know, LA, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what keeping jiu-jitsu a lot too. When I was young, I thought, man, wait a minute, you guys gonna pay me to go to Australia?
Yeah.
I'm in, man. You know what I mean? Like,
It's crazy what comes
I'm gonna
with it.
keep getting good on that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, wait a minute, I'm going to Munich in Germany, and you're gonna pay my ticket.
Yeah.
Let's
Wow.
go.
Yeah.
So
Nuts,
it's the
right?
lifestyle, right? So is the way you live your
Yeah.
life versus being in the office all day on the computer.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think it's also the personality. Some people are born more for one thing,
Yeah.
some to the other things. I always have this adventure spirit
Yeah.
that I can see you guys have too, right?
Yeah.
You
Thank
guys
you.
is brand. You guys is starting something,
Yeah.
traveling, chasing, hunting.
Yeah.
That's super cool, man.
Yes, sir.
What I love about the life is it all comes from one moment in time where you had a thought or just your imagination ran wild one day and you're like, wow, like what if I just like yourself, what if I went and did jujitsu this first day and then like look at where it led you, like everything around us, like from the wall, from that light to the fan, like it came from an idea in somebody's mind. Like, what if I did that and then they did it and it worked? So like, that's why I always try to tell people it's possible. You might like really doubt yourself, like, damn, like I'll never be that guy. Like I'll never be successful like those guys. But it all comes from an idea. As long as you just stay consistent to it, I believe you could really obtain anything in life.
I agree with you. And one thing, like, it's not about the medal, right? One thing that we say before is the success is not being to be a champion. I never dreamed, to be honest, to be 10 times world champion,
Yeah.
right? But my dream is I want to live my life and pay my bills at the same time that I can do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I will be a UFC champion. I never even want to fight UFC, to be
Yeah.
honest. I want to learn the self-defense, and I
Yeah.
did a lot. On my school, I learned my entire life. My coach will put, you put gloves, you no gloves.
Yeah.
You can punch, you cannot punch, and you got to figure out to take this guy down and tap him without throw a punch. So this part was really fun and all that. But for me was, how can I live my life doing jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
so I don't need to work? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that's why we choose jiu-jitsu, because we don't like to work. That's
Hell
how
yeah.
people used to say back in the day. No, this guy's do jiu-jitsu because he doesn't like really to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't like to work in the office, but
Yeah.
try to be a jiu-jitsu fighter or jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
coach. You're going to see how much you're
Yeah.
going to work.
Hard work, man.
You know, it's hard work,
Yes.
but it's something that you love, so you're going to do every
Yeah.
day. For you, probably it's a hard work to come to Dallas, and
Yeah.
as you say, man, I had to set up everything, make some hotel expenses,
Yeah.
investments, and everything. But I'm pretty sure you guys having fun on the process,
Yeah.
right? And
Oh
that's
my
why you guys
God,
keep
yeah.
doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is what I live for now. Like I love like this whole newfound journey of what I'm doing in my life now. That's why I brought up earlier, like at one point it wasn't really like that for me. So like now that it's like I wake up every morning and it almost feels like a dream, like that I'm living.
That's what I'm
which is
saying. Like, it's a
ridiculous.
good lifestyle, man.
Yeah.
You enjoy the process. So that's, you know, if you're going to have 1,000 views or 1,000,000 views,
Yeah.
it's a consequence. But if you enjoy the process,
Yeah.
things is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
You're going to
Yeah.
do it with love. You're going to get better, as you say. The podcast today will be better than the yesterday.
Yeah.
And things come, you know?
Yeah. It's a personal journey that we're all on. No matter what your thing is, this is our thing and you have your thing, and throughout that time you like really find out a lot about who you are and who you want to be. Because even like when I started this, like the idea of who I wanted to be definitely shifted in the short amount of time that we've been doing it. And like you change, you come up with new ideas, and you just overall change as a person as you get older and you grow up. So yeah, we're just along for the ride. We're enjoying it, but it's been a hell of a ride so far, man.
Boom.
Very cool.
Let's go.
Raf, you want to tell the people your Instagram handle?
Or
so
like
they can follow
anything,
you?
shout
Or
out
anything,
anything.
website, anything?
My Instagram is at Rafael Lang, Rafael Lang, Rafael Lang, simple like that. Right? So I have the Instagram, and that's, you can find all the information there.
Cool.
Like
Okay.
any comment, or you just direct message, and we can talk from there for sure.
All right.
Nice. Yeah, we'll make sure to plug all your stuff down in our description. But thank you
All right.
again, man.
Thank
This
you
was
very
an
much.
honor. This was an epic podcast. I can't wait for this one to come out. It should come out in like roughly a week or two. So we'll make sure to get everything linked to you. But
Raf Lang.
Guys, thank you.
Oh,
let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Peace.
Peace.